Star Wars Outlaws is a game developed by Ubisoft with the intent of ripping your wallet from your pocket and fucking you sideways with it. Let me explain. The game follows Kai Vess, a powerful female protagonist looking for a job to set herself up until the end of days. Along with her best friend, this thing? A Merkwolf for those of you wondering? They go from job to job across the galaxy, taking down bad guys and doing missions for hard-earned cash. But this isn't the only hard-earned cash that's being robbed now, is it, Ubisoft? The game is going to retail with the base price of £59.99, $69.99 for the Americans out there, which is already a crazy amount when you think about it. And yet, if you paid attention, you'll notice that I said that's the base game. The next version up cost £94.99, which is $109.99, and the ludicrous £114.99, which is $129.99. Now, you don't need me to explain to you that that is already a ludicrous price, so what the hell, Ubisoft? But don't worry, at least it's a base price of £60 for the base game with 2 pre-order bonuses. Cosmetics. Cosmetics for your speeder and spaceship. As in, different coloured pixels for your existing vehicles. Not performance increases or new weapons, colours. The package after that one, the Gold Edition, also has the following extras: 3 days of early access and the Season Pass. Which, in my opinion, what I'm seeing is £35 more to play the game 3 days earlier, as well as 2 DLCs which precede the following that will release after launch. As in, they're charging you £35 more for what sounds like missions they could have just kept in the game, but greedy old Ubisoft needed to squeeze the extra pennies out of your pocket for you to enjoy the already existing content that you've paid £60 for. But don't worry, the Ultimate Edition offers the previous perks plus the greatest waste of money of them all: 2 cosmetic bundles and a digital art book. Meaning you get to spend £20 more than the already overpriced Gold Edition to look at art that you could probably download off of any website after the game's release for free. And to point that out, that's a whopping £55 over the base game's price, which is nearly double the cost of the original game, for essentially 3 cosmetics, 3 days of early access, missions that apparently already exist in the game, and a digital art book. Now, don't worry. Ubisoft don't intend to completely scam you. You can also pay £14.99 a month for the Ultimate Edition, but the second you stop paying, you will lose everything. However, personally, I don't think this is that bad of a deal. I tend to play a game once and not really go back to it, meaning I can pay about a third of the cost of the base game, complete it, and move on with my life, as well as have access to a library of 100+ games to play once I complete this one. I mean, if your goal is just to play the game the once, then please go ahead, but there is a caveat. It's cloud gaming. In essence, what that means is that if you've got bad Wi-Fi, you're barely going to be able to play the game if boot it up at all. I mean, I'm someone who's been blessed with the rare opportunity of gigabit internet, which means I know I'm going to be fine, but you may not be, so please look into it before you go ahead and make that purchase. Anyways, back to the main issue now, the pricing. I am about to do a big long breakdown, and I'm going to do UK first, followed by the US edition, so please look down at the chapters for whichever one you prefer to look into that's more suitable for you. In the UK, as of April 1st, 2024, the minimum wage is £11.44 an hour. If we take that base price of £59.99 for the game and divide it by the £11.44 an hour that a minimum wage employee makes, they'll be able to get this game with 6 hours of work and have an extra £8.65 to spare for some snacks at their desk whilst they play. Now, the average person in the UK works an 8-hour day, meaning you lose almost a whole day's wages on the base version of the game alone. And let's be honest, in this day and age of brain rot and social media, you can't wait 3 days for a game to release because you're going to get it spoiled online somewhere. Not only that, but you'd also miss out on the 2 DLC missions unless you're willing to pay the premium for these further down the line. So you're going to end up spending £94.99 on the Gold Edition anyways. Again, divide by £11.44 an hour, and a minimum wage employee would have to work 9 hours for the bundle. giving you £7.97 to spend on your own little snacks. That is a day and an hour for a copy of a game with DLC that quite frankly should have just been included from the start. And as for the Ultimate Edition, I'm gonna slap the maths on the screen, but there's no point actually talking about it. Unless you're making some really decent money, it's a pointless bundle that's out there for the Star Wars / Ubisoft elitists. Now, I know that all sounds bad, but we're now going to cut to the US figures, which are somehow even worse. The minimum wage currently for a US employee is $7.25 an hour. Now, I know that this can vary from state to state, but I'm going to keep this number as our baseline as it's currently the government enforced minimum wage. Now, the base game is $69.99, meaning you need to work 10 hours to afford the base version of this game with $2.51 to spare. For context, that is a day and 2 hours of the average 8-hour working day to be able to afford the base game on minimum wage. Not only is that fairly insane, but then you have the Gold Edition, which comes to 16 hours of work at minimum wage with $6.01 to spare, which is quickly followed up by the Ultimate Edition, which will take 18 hours of work, leaving you with 51 cents to spare. So that is 2 days and 2 hours of your wages that you've worked hard for if you want to save up for the Ultimate Edition. Now, all of that is without even mentioning the wider issue, your setup. If you don't have a PC with some mad CPU and overpowered graphics card, I can guarantee you the game will run as good as OJ Simpson did on the Bronco chase footage. Let alone the argument that games these days aren't optimized to boot into the menu screen, let alone have a smooth gaming experience. However, this game does have the potential to be good. It looks stunning and the story is taking a nice direction, and I feel like the characters in the world has been set nicely with the potential of being interesting. But these price ranges just don't justify it for me. I think we've hit that unfortunate point where game developers really don't care about their community and the players. They only care about getting a product out there and making as much of a profit as humanly possible. To play the Gold Edition and the Ultimate Edition, I need to book time off for at least 3 days of early access, spend a whole day's wages, and I could complete it in 4 hours, making it the least cost efficient purchase I've made this year. And I bought Apex Battle Passes and event packs. I think the overall message is just do better, companies, for the people who enjoy your games and the people growing up in a bleak and expensive world who will never know the joys of finding a game at steal because you charge full price on your stores as well. I remember the absolute joy I had once going into a Blockbuster because I found a copy of Pokemon Black 2 like a few weeks after it released, and it was like nearly half price. Meanwhile, you guys are willing to charge the well over £100 markup for something that's not really worth it. Cosmetics. Just do better. Do better for the community, do better for the players, and start to care. Also, please like and subscribe so I can do more content like this. Okay, bye!